Welcome. Hey, I'm Grant. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Replicated.
Yeah, I'm Mark. I'm the CTO and co-founder at Replicated.
So we started the company about 9 years ago. Mark and I had co-founded a separate company together called Look.io that was acquired by LivePerson. And I think, we solved this challenge around enabling enterprise software companies to distribute their applications into secure environments. It's something that we faced at at LivePerson, and ultimately, we felt like the technologies were emerging that would sort of blend together the ability to create a SaaS application that could also be self-hosted and let customers run it and sort of package the orchestration and a lot of the knowledge around how to actually operate the application with the code itself.
Yeah, on the technology side, that was what, 2013, 14 that we were at LivePerson. And it was the early days of Docker, before Kubernetes, before container orchestration. And the way that folks were solving that problem, there was kind of two ways that folks were solving it. One saying, nope, it's all going to move to multi-tenant SaaS. That's the future. Let's do everything there. Enterprises, and there was definitely some of the larger orgs wanted it on-prem at the time, and they were solving it through VMs or shipping appliances around. It was early days of Docker, and we were like, look, this is not a problem that we're the only ones facing right now at LivePerson. Other folks have to be having this problem also. We can kind of think about the future and take an opportunity to build a product here.
We have evolved our product as the market has changed. And so I think initially Replicated's product was really much around packaging, and then it was around installation. And I think now it's evolved to the point where it's really around the entire life cycle of enterprise software distribution. And so we have the commercial software distribution life cycle, which we talk about, which includes kind of development, test, release, license, install, report, support. And that's really the process that a software vendor goes through in order to distribute their application into these secure environments. And we really hope to help those vendors solve kind of very specific problems at each stage. And we think that requires purpose-built solutions for those problems. We talk a lot about the difference between first-party application development, which is like an internal team developing code and then deploying it to servers they can control, versus third-party application development, which is really what our customers do, what ISVs do, independent software vendors, right? Those folks are actually packaging an application and delivering it to a customer to run on any number of different environments. And that end customer might have different requirements, different experience, different knowledge. And so the value here is that you need to be able to kind of automate as much as possible, but then just also tackle a bunch of those problems that come up with complex and different environments.
Yeah, it's the goal is to build a really cohesive platform. Grant mentioned before, we started off with install because reporting and thinking about how to support something is not a very worthwhile effort to go put into if folks are really struggling to install the application. So Kubernetes has created this kind of common API that makes it really easy to install software. We can kind of not have to put all of our attention to focus on that problem now. But once you have the software installed, it really does become a platform and a life cycle that kind of feeds on itself, where you can say, great, we're going to ship it to some customers. Those customers are going to install the software. We're going to have some learnings about what type of environments they're running it in. Are they running it in embedded cluster, existing cluster, cloud provider, bare metal, whatever that is. And then how are they using the software? Not the data itself, obviously, but just the operational characteristics of these deployments that we can pull back in, use it to build test harnesses around with compatibility matrix, be able to drive that, and ultimately feed that back into the next release of their products so that they can ship with more and more confidence as they're using it. So basically, as a vendor using Replicated, use the SDK, and the more functionality you have kind of feeds back into the release process so that you can have a better, a more reliable and a better distribution of your software. Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about what we're actually delivering now. I actually think back to when we started the company. I remember this. It was probably very different categories at the time, but we drew this linear version of probably something similar to the commercial software distribution lifecycle, thinking about all that we want to do. But we didn't really have the opportunity to go build that because it was install, install, install. In fact, early customers said Replicated is our installer, and it was that is what the problem we're solving for you, but that's not the thing that we want to. Really the long-term value that we see. And now, being able to focus on compatibility matrix in the embedded cluster, simplify how that's two parts of the commercial software distribution lifecycle in ways that we've kind of wanted to do from the beginning. We've had customers asking for functionality to test and ship their application more reliably since we started, and a year ago, I think we finally were like, look, we now have this opportunity. Let's lean into Helm a little bit. Let Helm do some of the lifting on installation, and give us the opportunity to build that. And now those, compatibility matrix is a GA product. We have customers using it right now, and it works. Like, it's actually good to like start providing value outside of install. We kind of rewrote the product from a lot of hard to maintain bash into a more simple solution. I think the biggest kind of learning that we took from that drove that was Kubernetes is ubiquitous. Everybody can get Kubernetes now. So if you're a vendor and you want to ship your software into a customer environment, they can get access. Most of them can get access to Kubernetes these days. That doesn't mean they want to, though. They want to buy a piece of software. They don't want to buy a piece of software and the operational burden of managing a Kubernetes cluster. They just want the software. And curl was like originally built as a Kubernetes distribution creator, not a embedded cluster. So you still kind of had to understand some of Kubernetes to really do a lot of the day-to-day maintenance of it. We try to simplify it some so that you weren't really managing a full cluster, but there was still, it leaked through a lot. And now we really took that away and said, look, a software vendor who wants to ship with a new embedded cluster product, they'll know Kubernetes. They have to know Kubernetes. They're packaging an application that's running on scheduled, orchestrated, and often using Kubernetes API at runtime. But end customers, they just want to think about it in terms of the piece of software that they're installing, not the underlying infrastructure.
Hopefully, you understand the problem a little bit better now, understand where we came from, and yeah, excited to build some things together.